Hello and welcome to the first episode of StarCraft not State of the Game. We're actually South Australian StarCraft League Season 2 behind the scenes. My name is Brad Baldwin, aka Baldy, and to my right I do have Visions, Stuart Bendel. Say hi, buddy.
Hi, mate.
Good,
Hello
mate.
to everyone watching.
Sorry, what?
Just hello to everyone watching.
No worries. So I'll get a bit of an intro. We'll see what we're going to have in store for this episode, and then we'll jump straight into it. So initially we're going to have an interview with Carlo Espataro, one of our senior members of SASL, and also heavily involved with Season 3. We call him our Operations and Logistics. So we'll have a quick interview with him, and then we'll be looking at a set of the week from round 1, which actually includes a set played by you, Visions, versus Maynard.
Yes.
So we'll have a look at that, and then we'll have a look at the rounds so far, what's been happening, who to look out for, a bit of predictions, and then wrap it up with a bit of SASL general news. So as I get the interview ready with Carlo, do you have anything to add to that, Stuart? Or
No, that pretty much covers it.
No worries. Well, the interview with Carlo was pre-recorded. Unfortunately, as you'll soon find out, he did have to go. He's going on a holiday house or something. I don't know, something like that. But we'll jump straight into the as I jump into the interview, and we'll be back shortly with more stuff. And welcome to you, Carlo, and thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Alright, no problems. Thanks for having me.
That's fine. Do have Stuart as well with me. Say hello, buddy.
Hello.
Now this is pre-recorded. Carlo, actually, what do you got planned? You going away?
Yeah, I'm heading up to our shack up at Manham for some water skiing and such. All that kind of fun stuff. Something not to do with StarCraft or Uni.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I guess we'll jump straight into the interview. Thanks for taking the time with us. I guess to start it off, can you give a little bit of a background on yourself and your role within SASL and the current Season 3 tournament?
Background on myself. Alright, first of all, I'm going to start that I'm not good at SE2. I enjoy the game, I have passion for the game, but I am not very good at it. I'm only a gold level player, and in fact I believe I shouldn't even be there. SASL was actually started by my brother Polar, Bobbis. He's the one who actually started the Facebook group, and he kind of just left it open for people to sign in, started growing, and then he just let me take over and took the management start of it.
I always thought it was you who started it.
No, actually, no. I'm founder, if you want to name it that way.
Co-founder.
Yeah, I just took it over and grew it pretty much. He just had the idea and just called it SASL. So
does he take royalties or?
Oh yeah, he takes like $5 for every membership. It really hurts.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
gotta have a fundraising sometime soon, I think.
No worries.
But yeah, so I love organizing tournaments, and I love the thrill of competition. That's why I organized the operation side of the tournament, along with the other guys. I mainly manage the team that run it, and I delegate the tasks, so pretty much I can be the overseer kind of person for the tournament and tell people what need to do, but really it's more of a, what do you call it, democratic society where, like, you know, everyone's pitching, and then we take an idea and we run with it, and I try to delegate who's the best person to do a certain thing.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, I just need to check something. Did you just say everyone's bitching, or everyone pitches in?
You could interpret that in any way, shape, or form you would like. If you heard the former, then that could be true as well, although I am not saying that on record.
Okay.
You are, but that's fine. Well, yeah, I kind of encapsulated you as an operations kind of logistics of SASL, and obviously this season as well. So I guess it kind of leads into our next question about how you feel the tournament's progressing so far, both as you said from an organizational point, but also from an entertainment standpoint.
Well, for the organizational part, I think week one was really, really successful. We've had one issue with a certain player that is still going on up to here, but I think people have played their games pretty on time. This week, not so well, but I mean, we've got Easter and people are going away and doing other stuff and kind of busy. So, I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of games are still getting played, which is good, and people are still quite enthusiastic about it. And I think, definitely, I think it's going well. What helped as well is like when we started using the challenge brackets to actually sort out the back end stuff, takes away a lot of the work and the calculation of points and whatnot. And I think it works well. It's got its little niggly issues, but you know, it works. The benefits definitely outweigh the cons at this point. For entertainment value, I think the tournament is still pretty much early on. There's matchmaking is still kind of in its infancy. That's why we decided to run it for 7 weeks to get the matchmaking better as we
Yep.
progress through the tournament. We have some awesome matchups there. As you could see, I think we casted a few games the other night. I think Edge and Guess Who played, but that was a pretty short game, but still entertaining nonetheless to see really, really, stomping someone. But nah, I think there's some really, really good games there, and I'm really excited about this season. How we got so many like bigger names out there. We got like 4B again, which is good. We got Satu, we got Edge, really big name there in C, and Bielsker. I think you'd agree with that, Stuart. We're getting some really good names out there.
Yeah, it's great to see all the guys who I kind of go to Hive to catch up with. Not Hive, sorry, Mark's arena tournaments. It's really good to see a lot of those guys signing up for this tourney now.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're definitely growing in that sense, and I think that's a massive positive. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I'd have to agree with that. And I guess kind of tapping on that, yeah, like you said, we now are up to 50 player pool. Last season, I guess season two was kind of like our first real push to kind of grow, like and expand. You might agree with that, Carly, or not. But
No, no.
we had 28, I believe, last season. Now we're up to 50, so almost double. And like you said, a few bigger names. So definitely it's exciting where SASL is going, and also like you were saying, this season's a pretty big step up. And I think we're doing pretty well so far, but still got plenty of weeks to go. I think I worked out what
Yes.
there's 25 sets per round, up to 3 games each one. Like we still have like over like potentially over 300 games to be played, which is a lot of games.
Yes. And as like I said though, with the way Swiss bracket works, the later in the stages, we're gonna see some really, really close matchups there, and we're gonna see some awesome games there. So yeah, I think it's gonna be absolutely brilliant in the coming future.
Definitely. And I'm excited as well to be able to do some streaming and casting as well. But I guess speaking of this progression that we've had, what are your thoughts on the development of SASL? And do you have any aspirations or how you kind of like SASL to be, or a certain place you'd like SASL to become?
Well, see, look, like I said, I'm gonna go back to having some of those bigger name players out there. Having bigger name players can definitely get you some good rep and also some insight into the high-end gaming world and knowing how, like, how the tournaments will go. Like, we're mixing kind of the really high-level players with just like, the lower-end players, but it's all in a good competitive environment. But again, having those big name players will gain us rep, and like it really helps us grow. And I think SASL is in a pretty good place at the moment with the way we are with our tournaments, the amount of members we have and whatnot. Our involvement and branch out to SE2C has definitely helped as well, I believe. Do you believe with that, Stuart? I think that's helped us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the main reason we picked up like an extra 25 people this tournament.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Yeah, no, it's like I was actually quite worried about that because yeah, we're gonna have more people, but like because they're not in the community, are they going to invest in time and are they gonna be actually playing in the tournament? So it's a bit of a wild card there, but I think that's played off.
For the most part, like everyone, most of the people who we got from SE2 SEA are all high-end players. And these guys who, if there's money on it in a tournament, they're gonna play it.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
that's excellent.
that's something you don't really need to be worried about.
Yeah. Oh, this was before. This was before we actually
Ah,
started involving C2C. But now that
oh,
we've done
okay.
that, it worked really well.
Yep.
I think I'd like to have bigger and better prizes for our tournaments. When we start sorting out our league system, we could have a higher end tier and a lower end tier and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
But my main aim really is to get SASL to represent South Australia, to be the place for SC2 tournaments in Australia. And there's lots of communities out there, but I mean, like, if we end up being the group that throws the best tournaments with the best prizes, that's good for SA, isn't it? Like, this
Yeah.
little town of Adelaide actually being recognized for esports. So that's really, the end game.
The end game, your tier 3.
Tier 3, Ultras, actually, no, not Ultralisks.
Mate, you
I won't
wanted to
even
kill
talk
us.
about
What are you
that.
talking about?
Yeah, you get killed by 1.5 tier units. But anyway,
Oh,
balance aside.
controversial.
Someone
Balance
definitely
aside.
was watching IPL.
But yeah, so I'd say, yeah, that's definitely the main aspiration for the group.
Awesome. And Stuart, I guess I'll open up to you as well. Like, do you have any ideas of what you think is possible? Like, do you agree with Carlo or anything to add with that? I mean, I totally agree with it, and I definitely see that there's a lot of potential to expand the corporate side, especially with SSL and esports. I think there's a lot of potential. But again, do you have anything to add? Or
No, I think if it keeps going the way it's going, you'll definitely see positive growth coming out of SASL, both in like player base, production values for tournaments that we run, and for the prizes that come out of that as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
So yeah, so as long as it keeps going the way it's going, I'm sure you're only going to keep seeing good things.
that's right. That's right. And I mean, there will come a point where we'll grow, and I mean, it's gonna be harder to manage it, but I'm sure we'll adapt to the changes, and there'll be ways and means around it. I mean, we can only work to our capacities. This isn't our full-time job, so it's a lot of time management goes into running something like this. But so far, we're doing well, I think.
Definitely, I'd have to agree with that. So, well, I guess that's really all we had planned in terms of questions. I think we just wanted to get a general idea of SASL and also the season that we have ahead. So thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
It's been awesome so far this season. Like you said, we're definitely looking forward to the remainder of it. And I guess, is there anything else you'd like to say or any shout-outs before we wrap you up and let you go back to packing?
Shout out. Where do I start? Well, let's all suck up to our sponsors, of course. No, definitely. Thank you to our sponsors. Putting an investment into what we do, that's, I think that definitely helps in running the tournament when we have a good prize pool. And I think you guys would agree for for a community-based tournament, that's a pretty good prize pool, I think.
Yeah, I guess to put it in perspective, we have 3 sponsors at the moment through Juice Studios, Terra Australis, and Channel 4 News Team. And currently there's a $300 cash pool, which is pretty exciting. I definitely agree with that. And yeah, like you said, I mean, we couldn't do it without our sponsors. It's a great draw card, and yeah, we see. Very important.
Definitely. Also, I'd like to just say thank you to you, Paulie. You've just increased our production value here like twofold, I reckon, if not 3 or 4-fold. It's just the streams look excellent. Your casting is awesome. And when we get to the finals, I think we're going to step it up a notch again. And I think you've got the capability to do that. So thank you for that.
My pleasure, buddy.
We've
Don't
got...
forget to breathe, Carlo. Don't forget to breathe.
I'm a bit teary here, you see, just
Halfway through an enchilada,
got,
yesterday.
yeah, that's right. I got too many jalapeno peppers. I'd like to thank Adam Moyle as well for transferring our site over to his hosting and actually sorting out an awesome deal for our hosting there. So thank you for that. Any web issues is his domain now, and Justin for the graphics as well. I think you guys would agree that the graphics are pretty good on the website. I'm sure we will do a quick revamp once the back end of things is sorted by Adam. I'd like to thank you, Michael McEnany, as well as our SC2 C liaison. He's been pretty much putting up the posts, managing the people, getting contact with whoever I need to get contact to. And also to you, Stuart, for your excellent input regarding the finer details of the tourney when we were trying to sort out rules and whatnot.
I
So,
always just felt like I was being a dick, but thank you.
being a dick, I think, helped, really. So, I think some people enjoy the dick or being... No. Anyway.
What a way to end it. Coming out of it close.
Finally, just like to thank the players as well for being so receptive to the tournament and playing their games, and I sure hope we keep the enthusiasm up and get this tournament be awesome.
Awesome.
So, yes.
Thanks, Carly. You can
Sure.
Carly, aka Devil's Angel, playing in the tournament, so look out for him.
Yep.
Around on SC2SCA and our Facebook group, obviously Carly Esparo. Thank you again for speaking with us, and I guess we'll speak with you at our next admin meeting.
Sweet.
So there we go. We do have our interview with Carlo completing, and we are very thankful for him coming on board with us to have that interview as we get Stuart back up as well. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So yeah, and thanks for being part of that interview as well. So we will jump now straight into our set of the week. It's just a little segment that we're trialing, basically looking at the best couple of sets or the best set of each round. This week we'll be looking at a round one set, as I said earlier, with Visions versus Maynard. So we have some footage that we're going to play for you guys, and then I'll be asking Stuart some questions, a little bit of analysis. So without further ado, let's jump into, I guess, a bit of background. We'll be watching game number 2. We are 21 minutes into the game. It is Teldarim Alta, and as you'll soon find out, there is some stuff that goes down in a certain person's favour, and maybe it gets a little bit cocky. But let's jump into the action now, and then I'll ask some questions of you, Stuart. So, here we go. Wow. Sorry I missed that.
Huge.
But that is never a good thing. It looks like we're about to have a huge engagement. Needs to get a good concave. Nice bungle there. They can't blink away, and that is... I mean, obviously
the and the Zerglings come in.
Yeah, I mean, he is trapped around the corner.
But
he is trapped at the moment. He can blink away, but he's going to get socked up, and we will have the offensive throw in here. And look at that concave. They are not going to see the light of another day.
Ooh.
And
that was
just
devastating for Visions, down to 119 supply.
Maynard asking the question. Vision's not really willing to.
So
He does have,
BM.
he does have he does have a 5th up, so he does. If you look at the income, he is actually quite a bit ahead in terms of worker count and income. So Maynard needs to be sure he doesn't premature GG, that offensive GG. So Stuart, we just finished up with doing 42 damage segment, and basically as I jump into the actual replay itself on StarCraft 2, I'll just have a few questions. So I guess as you would have realized at that point in time, your Stalker army just got decimated by Maynard's Roach force. What were your thoughts on the engagement, and how did you feel afterwards?
I went down to go put pressure on his 4th or try and pick it off. And then when he came down with his army, I was like, well, I'm kind of stuck and I'm not getting away anywhere. So I'll just sit there and deal with it. In my head, I was playing like I normally would when I'm actively playing. So I was kind of in my head thinking I was macroing behind it. And then looked at my mineral count and realized I hadn't actually been building up behind it.
Yeah.
But once I saw his army, I knew I could kind of deal with it, even with like that kind of fuck up. So when he kind of threw out that mana GG, I was like, nah, I still got this. Like, he can't kill me, and he doesn't have enough bases to be able to recover if I'm able to do some damage after this. So I still felt like I was in a reasonable position.
Yeah, like I've got the replay up here, and like you said, you got 3,700 in the bank in minerals, and then 1.5k in gas. Maynard has 1,200, 700. If we look at the unit comp, he had 56 roaches. playing very heavily with Roach. It was common in all 3 games actually. Maynard opting for a Roach-based play. Apparently, you guys have been rivals for some time. Is that something that is a common play when you verse Maynard?
I wouldn't really say rivals, just kind of friends from the arena tourneys. We used to practice a bit before I started casting the ACL. And yeah, he always used to go really roach heavy. So I kind of know it's a playstyle of his. So I wasn't really too worried about having to deal with roaches because I knew they were going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely, I think you were, I guess Maynard perhaps probably thought that you didn't have that amount of money in the bank. But given that you were able to re-macro up, and we will be soon jumping, as I jump to the 27-minute mark, a bit later in the game. So there were a few tosses and turns in terms of engagements. He came at you with that army, and you kind of deflected it pretty well. And then you basically macroed up, got a lot of Immortals and Colossi. And as we'll soon see in the part 2 of the footage, you end up overwhelming him. So we'll play that piece of footage, and then we will jump into some questions as well. So as I get the footage up here, and let's get it playing. Yeah, doing 42
That's
damage.
splash damage.
It's pretty crazy, and you'd expect a GG pretty soon, and you'd have to think that Maynard may have his tail between his legs, especially after doing a bit of BM. There's the lull. He knows he's done it. There we go. He knows it.
And Visions should be very, very happy with that win. He came back from an absolutely terrible.
So yeah, we just finished up with that second segment, and as I go back into the game, I guess you'd have to be pretty happy with the outcome of that, given that you obviously did get annihilated in the mid game. What were your thoughts after the game? Did you feel like any momentum was in your favor, and did you take any of that into?
Yes and no. Like first game, I lost it from just moving across the map instead of A-moving, and didn't react in time when my shit got killed. This game, like I felt like I played a little bit better, but still kind of felt like Maynard lost it rather than I won it.
Yeah.
So it didn't really feel like it was a huge momentum swing, rather than just I kind of remembered how to play. That was about it.
No worries. Well, I guess, a win is a winner. Maynard did take the first game, so it did mean that it did force the third and final game. And we will be jumping into some footage of that pretty soon. But I guess recapping on that game too, I think one of the main reasons why it made it such a good game was the fact that it was like back and forth. It wasn't one of those one engagement and the game's over. And also the fact that Maynard was in such a good position, or at least it seemed like that, and you were able to jump back and kind of, I guess, shit on him. But
Yeah.
yes, so go.
Oh, no, that's right. I was just going to say, like, I think if Maynard had pushed up towards my natural, instead of trying to take out that fourth, I probably would have been screwed over because he could have got into my base. And, like, would have been able to just stream lings in there. Whereas, because he wasted that time going after the fourth, I wasn't worried if I lost it. I had a fifth up and running, so I knew I was in, like, an okay position to be able to recover from it and just build up and kill him.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, so that did make it one apiece. The first map, because it was round 1, we did have GSL Daybreak as the first map, and obviously in the second one we had Teldream Altar. Now Maynard did choose GSL Daybreak again as his third choice. And
I hated him for that.
You pardon?
I hated him for that.
And interestingly, it was kind of a bit of deja vu in a sense. Like we saw Maynard in the first game. For an early expo, and then into Roach play, and got some mutas out, and actually was able to take down your Colossi Bay while it was researching thermal lances in both game 1 and game 3. Did that bother you at all, like in terms of were you phased by it? Did you feel like you could have scouted it or prevented it a bit better?
I'm sure I could have prevented it completely, but I didn't. I think in game 1 I was able to cancel the research, so at least I got the money back for it.
I think
And game 3
research?
that didn't happen.
Did you get research? I think you get your money back if the research. Is it? As far as I'm aware, I thought if.
I don't know. I just assumed you didn't get the money back if it was destroyed while researching.
someone in chat can let us know. But anyway, nonetheless, it was a very similar opening and into the mid game from Maynard. And we're about to jump into some footage at the 23-minute mark, which is actually very close to the end of the game, where we have some money force fields placed down by your good self. So we'll jump into that footage, and then I'll jump into the actual game replay so we can have a different look at it. But anyway, let's get into the footage, and then we can have a look at some questions. Get rid of these, and there might be a blink in. No, there is no blink in. So I really feel it's going to come down to these bungles and getting rid of the
What are your thoughts on the banelings in this fight?
The banelings haven't actually been able to come in very well. They are streaming ahead now and doing quite a bit of damage. But again, I don't think, especially when they're rolling in and you have Colossi at the back. So again, apologies, Visions, of the fact that we weren't super excited when those force fields went down. Anthony did ask me a question and I was kind of like, what's going on? But definitely after that, I learned for myself the value of some good force field placements. And so as I try and get the actual same situation up on the replay, you must be pretty happy with those force fields. And did you think that was the reason that you won that engagement so convincingly?
That was the only reason I won that game.
Yeah.
If those banelings had rolled in, I would have been fucked. It didn't matter if I was up the ramp or down the ramp. I would have died.
Yeah,
so,
I would have to agree with that. I mean, he did do a little bit of damage, but we'll soon see. I'm almost at that point in the game. But basically, there was like one slot where it could roll in, like only one baneling at a time, and you know your Colossi and your Stalkers after that just annihilated that army. So again, awesome force fields. I guess it must have been pretty satisfying to land them. What were you feeling when you landed them? Did you? I don't know.
I don't know, like placing force fields. I know when I've been playing against Wraithen, it was something I practiced because he went heavy ling baneling for a while. So I was just playing around with how I could try and muck around with the pathing and force him to kind of loop back around the force fields to the other side to get myself as much time as I could.
Yeah.
So in that game, you've got 3 force fields, a little gap, like another 3, and then I block that up at the end as well to try and stop any more coming through.
Well,
So
I finally got the footage here, so I will do a different look at it. It had quite a sizable amount of mutas and everything, and yeah, I guess looking at your unit comp, I mean, it's pretty much Stalkers. Only 3 Colossi, it seemed like there were more, but anyway, we have the...
3? I thought it was 2.
Yeah, it looks like he has 2 in the engagement, the third one comes a little bit later, but if we look at this, they can see it on stream, obviously you can't yourself, but there really is only room for 2 units to go through at any point in time.
I screwed up force fields on the other side. I didn't notice that. You can fit like 3 or 4 lings in.
Yeah, there was a little bit on the outside, but I guess like I'll do it slow. If we look, these lings at the front are actually blocking the banelings, and most of them aren't able to hit. And yeah, it's like you actually lost like minimal units. It was quite crazy. And I guess that does show.
I just saw it then, like 4 or 5 banelings managed to get through and just kind of destroyed my zealots, but he had pretty much lost the rest of his army at that point, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
My Stalkers were alive, all he had were mutas. If he's going to try and repop, he'll repop on Zerglings, like I think there's 54 in production. And I've got the 2 or 3 Colossi, so I'm in a pretty good spot to win that game.
Yeah, exactly, and I guess it does show the benefit of good force field placements. You know, there's a lot of controversy around how good they are, but it does take some skill, I would say, or I'd assume at least. So, I guess like
let's go with skill. let's go with skill. It makes me feel better.
No worries. Yeah, well, I guess there was only a couple of minutes after that. Basically, you took out his 4th after then, and then kind of just streamed through and eventually took the game and the set 2-1. So I guess before we wrap up this segment, I mean, it was a pleasure to cast and watch, and I definitely recommend anyone who hasn't seen it to check it out. We do have our VODs up on our YouTube account, which is www.youtube.com/user/SASLtv. But before we wrap it up, is there anything else you wanted to add or any final words?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think we pretty much pretty solidly looked at it, and again we'll be looking at potential decent sets for round number 2 and round 3 potentially. It depends when we do our next episode, but thank you again for being so open to discuss it, and I guess we will now jump into our look at the season so far. I'll jump into the main screen now, and everyone will be able to see our Season 3 brackets if you want to jump into yours as well. So we are into round 2. About 2/3 of our games have been played for round 2, but do you have any people or any guys or players that you're looking out for or excited about how they're going to potentially go in the tournament?
I'm always keen to see like Edge and Champy play, just because I really only watched them when we were at Arena. So it's going to be good fun to see those guys. Satu's always put out some good games. Yeah, I think it's just the big name players at the moment that I'm looking out for.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, Visions, you did play Pickle this round. How did that go? Was that a close game? I haven't actually looked at the VODs.
VOD. No, it was one game. He tried to do a marine drop into the back of my base from where your third would be. My obs caught him moving across the map, and I got into position and destroyed his army. And then he kind of raged about Protoss and left the game and forfeited.
Oh, really? So
it wasn't really it wasn't really a good set.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's never ideal, but I guess you
hey,
take the
don't
point.
get me wrong, I'll take the free wins, but it just feels a little disappointing.
Of course. And I mean, we can look down at the bottom here. It does show the current leaderboard. But again, it's not really something we can look at the moment fairly, in the sense that there are still people who haven't played their round 2 games. But I guess you've got.
Oh yeah, I'm in second. Nice.
yeah. So you got like Spook Yourself, QE Crunch, Notorious Edge, Super Preve. All these people are masters, grandmasters, pretty high quality players. So it's starting to show, at least. And if we jump back up to the round 1, I guess the issue or the disadvantage about Swiss brackets is it does take a couple of weeks for the system to get its matchmaking pretty much sorted. If we look at the first week, there are a lot of 2-0s, and even now there is still a few 2-0s. So hopefully by round 3, maybe even round 4, we'll start to see some really close sets, and then definitely by round 6 and 7, when we get to the business end of it, there should be some pretty solid sets. Is there any 2 players that you'd like to potentially see duke it out against each other?
Let's see who's in here. I wouldn't mind seeing like Biosco vs Edge or Biosco vs Artanis if he joins in. Biosco's always got some really interesting players, and as a Protoss player, I really like watching his style of play because it's always just that little bit off standard.
Yep. Yeah, well, in terms of Artanis, he's not actually on the records at the moment. Skrull has more than likely, in fact now officially, has been removed from the Season 3. He hasn't had any communication. He is a Grandmasters player, so it is unfortunate that this had to happen. But at the end of the day, if we don't have any communication, it kind of stuffs around the system. So it looks like Artanis is for his position, so it does mean I have to play him this week.
Get ready for cheese.
Okay.
Get ready for some cheese.
I'll look out. I don't expect to win, but yeah, that'll be another. He'll be another good, good contender. He's up there. Is he done Masters? I haven't actually seen him in a while.
Masters, I think. I know he doesn't play enough to keep a Grandmaster slot, so I'd say it's Masters.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I mean, overall, I'd say definitely the quality of this of these 50 players are up there, and definitely looking forward to some new games that come out in the next few rounds. I'm all basically clear. I guess for those watching and those watching the VODs, as it goes further into the season, we will be able to analyze and look at the tables a bit more.
Ooh, we've got Biosco vs SASL coming up. I'm totally okay with this match. I want to see it.
There's SASL. So SASL's a Protoss as well. So
yeah, fucking number 2. Can't wait to see him get smashed. I mean, I'm sure it'll be an interesting game.
Well, I'm not sure when they're playing. I know they're on Facebook trying to sort it out. So hopefully I'll be able to stream it and cast it. But anyone watching or anyone in the VODs, be sure to subscribe as well to SASLtv on Twitch. We do have our season games streamed live from there, and then also uploaded onto YouTube. So again, it's pretty limited what we can do at this point in time, but definitely excited for the future matches. And I think that's really. Do you have anything else to add to this little section? But I think we're all pretty much there.
No, just to mimic what you said, really. Make sure you subscribe, favorite us on Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube, and just keep an eye update on whenever we custom games.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess the last part before we wrap things up is just to look at SASL in general, and also I guess the wider community in itself. So, I mean, obviously the main thing at the moment is SASL Season 3. We are in round 2. It is a 7-week round Swiss bracket system, and then we will be going into a final series. But we're also looking at, I know there's been a lot of interest actually on SC2 SEA about having some 2v2 comps. We did try one midway through last year and it kind of fell through a little bit, but it might be something we'll look at.
We did a 2v2 comp. I mean, I'm not surprised I didn't really pay attention to it, but I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
it was really it was back when we didn't have that many people and it wasn't really, I guess we didn't really have the structure around it to make it work. But look, if enough people want it, we can kind of do it to a poll, or if people let us know what kind of tournaments they want, then we can try and make a tournament that fits. Because basically, Carlo, Stuart, myself, all of the admin team, we just want to kind of create content for people. So if there's a demand for it, then obviously we'll try and bring it. So that's kind of like where SASL is at the moment. Our main focus is on the season, and then also looking at next season, how we can expand on top of that.
Are we planning on the finals for this season? We're doing it just online, aren't we? We aren't going to anywhere like Pimpad or Arena.
At this
Is that
point in
right?
time, yeah, at this point in time, just because we have a few interstate players, logistically, in the sense that if an interstate player made the finals and they were allowed to play from home, then realistically we would need to offer a fair playing field for the finals and allow them to play at home.
Yeah.
Because it is a $300 cash pool, it's an amount of money. So I think at this point in time, look, it can change, and if it does, we will let everyone know. But we're having a meeting in the coming week just to finalize that. But at this point in time, it will be online, and we may even be having so we'll have top 8, and then maybe what is that, 9 to 16. We'll have another sub tournament. Again, that's all in speculation at the moment. We're trying to get that sorted, but and then maybe in the future we might limit it to SA only. Now that we have a pretty solid SA base, that's probably more likely when we'd see the online, or sorry, the live tournament come into aspect. But yeah, so
Yep.
at the moment we are doing it online. And I guess that really is all in terms of SASL itself. I guess before we wrap this up, is there any kind of shout-outs or anything you want to do, Visions? I mean, obviously, thank you for being a part of this. It's great to have someone on board. And of course, anyone watching this, feedback is appreciated. This is our first one, so bear with us. But do you have any shout-outs or anything? Any streams? Any, I don't know, anything you want to say before we finish this up?
Shout out to all our sponsors, TA, Adam Moyle's hosting company. I've actually forgotten what it's called.
Juice Studios is our major sponsor. We've got
That's
Terra
it.
Australis as well, and Channel 4 News team, so shout-outs to them.
Yeah, Channel 4 News team. The past few tournaments, actually, they've been kind of donating a bit of cash to us for the tournaments. So,
Yep.
yeah, big shout-outs to those guys, even though it's a small amount in comparison to kind of what we've brought in this season. But just thanks for the regular support. In terms of streams, you could probably check out Maynard casting the ACL League.
Yep.
Like that's always a good thing to watch, and another one of the big Australian leagues. So it's go in, support him, follow him on Twitter if he has it. Don't know.
I know, we'll get this. I'm sure he does. I think he's Maynard SC2, but again, we'll work something out. But yeah, definitely. There's so much content out there on SC2 SEA, so be sure to check him out. Anything else, or?
No, that's about all for this cast, I think.
Yeah,
I didn't really prepare enough for it.
That's fine. I guess for myself, you more likely can catch me on this actual SASLtv stream. I do some casting for the season games. Also done some Clan Wars as well. Actually, while I was doing some replay footage, I did have one of the people from NAS Gaming actually ask me if I can do Clan War, so I'll get back to him. But either way, there'll be plenty. You'll see me a lot more, and hopefully you'll see you as well, Stuart. We'll try and get this on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and yeah, really looking forward to what we can extend and develop, and of course feedback is appreciated. But that's really all we have.
Sorry, I've been asked to make one more shout out. Shout out to all fellas. Nothing to do with the Australian StarCraft scene or StarCraft at all, but cheers for coming in and checking it out.
No worries, and yeah, again, thank you for everyone that's tuned in live. We will be chucking this up on our VODs. I will chuck up a post on SC2SCA about it, and in future we'll also let people know about when we're going to do it ahead of time. But thank you again, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to leave you with some footage from Carlo's interview. Before we started the official interview, he was watching the IPL, was it? Idra
yeah, IPL 4, Idra vs. Was it Bomber?
Idra vs. Bomber. It was game number 2.
That was good.
And we will leave you with the man himself. So signing out, thanks again, and enjoy this footage from Carlo.
Oh no, so many drones getting roasted. Fucking hell. Go on, man. Hydra, GG, what the fuck?
Told ya. Fucking told ya.
There is no need to GG at that point. Just attack with your army, you fucker. Jesus Christ.
Told ya.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Carlo, what are your thoughts on that game?
God damn. Fucking hell. Okay, he could, yeah, right, he would have lost that, no worries. But fucking just A-move for you, GG. Fuck.
There we go. There's a man in his full-fledged anger and rage.
Dude, he even makes like that little Mexican noise.
That was you, shut up.
Game's finished. Screws.